Testing. And don't want to hear myself. Maybe I should use earbuds. That's actually a really smart idea. Then I won't have feedback, right? Right. I talk and I hear that and it goes back into that. No, I might have feedback still. Okay. I'm gonna try this out. How fascinating, right? Don't want that. Test. Call. Test. Test. All right. Okay. Well, we'll try from the actually don't know if that's gonna work. Start broadcast. There's a bunch of people in here. All right. Checking out the new Surfey app. Thank you, Barto. Don't know if I can I get rid of that? Perfect. So this is the new app. I can see one of my surveys. I can record a new Surfey survey. We're going to need to fix the text on these. This is what it looks like when I go to one, which is great. I can play it. And theoretically, we'll hear the sound, but I can't pause it. So that's another problem. And then sharing, I go off to the right. Sharing. I'm going to share with Nobert. And I can also scan the QR code, which we'll try. So Nobert, you got that. Look at the responses. When I look at the response video, so this is another problem. I like the picture-in-picture where you can see both, but it's hard to see the full response. I think what needs to be switched here is the well, I think you need to be able to pop between them, and I'll show what that might look like in a second. Okay, so that looks good, and then I don't know how to get back. Right? I guess I come to the video and then go back. So it feels like I like the sliding thing and that you can get to this stuff easily, but I think the main view needs to have more of just sharing. Here's the QR code and here's your responses. And the actual preview video doesn't matter as much because you've already seen the video. You want to watch it with other responses, but that will be on there if you want to see it. So let's go back. And I don't know what's going to happen if I try to record a Surfey. So let's try that. Hey, so do I press the play button? This is where I get confused. So, oh, or does that mean it's done? And I'm guessing the X means it to cancel it. And do I hit the question or the check mark? Okay, so that's a little confusing. I really like the Rive animation. And so I'm guessing it's processing here. We need some text underneath to say what's going on. But the animation is cool. It just needs some more information there. So if somebody gets stuck, like say I'm stuck right now, I don't know what I'm stuck at. If I sent this screenshot and said after I record a video, it just does this, what does that mean? I'm still waiting. Like, is it? Can I tap that? No, it's not tappable. Okay, so that's processing, and then presumably I'll be able to use that. Let's go over to the MVP version that I put together, and this was just deployed this morning. So it makes you sign in. And then there's that loading. That's how fast it is. I use the Rive animation too, just as a GIF. And this is the main page. And I made it this way so that all of what you need to do fits on my tiny screen, right? My iPhone screen. Ooh, it's turning. And then you can still upload a video. And then here's the videos. It doesn't look like the one that I uploaded from the this app worked. And then you can extend, like I'm going to look at more videos. This is just, I want the ability for loading more videos, and the app should cache that so that it doesn't have to keep reloading. So now when I go to that same video, hot car that we showed earlier, and I do need to scroll up to the top, but anyway, this just a junk MVP UI. Right at the top, this is, you know, what I kind of like your share thing, but instead of sliding to the right, it's there. And then the video is down below that, but actually I want to see, and I like the cards. Oh, I lost my network connection. I've been having some Xfinity problems. All right. And then let's see if we can watch this. If I look at one of these, this is a response. I have the ability to play it or delete it, right? Just simple stuff. And if I play it, it'll load both of them, and it's supposed to play them at the same time. It doesn't work quite right on iPhone. It works in the web browser. But what's cool is I can tap that and it'll switch, right? I can switch which one is playing in the big box versus the small box. So if you can't quite see something, you can move it and then you should be able to see it. But then in the app too, when we're actually playing and not taking a survey, I'd like to be able to move that picture in picture to stick it to the corners. And then let's see. So if we take a survey, or let's record one and see if it actually works while I'm recording here. So if I record a selfie survey, I just have to say allow, and then theoretically it'll just start recording right away, which doesn't look like it's going to do on the iPhone. And then you click OK, and then that would record it. We'll try this on web too. So that's what it looks like on iPhone. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, if you go to your profile, so this is something that the app doesn't do yet. You need to be able to set your avatar, and that's really the only thing that matters right now. I don't see it as important to set a name because the survey won't show the name. Let me show you that. So if I go to the survey, this is what shows up. And the reason for this is I don't want them to see the thumbnail or the video prior to it recording, because I want the response to be spontaneous, right? So we hit play, and when you hit play, it says, this is what's going to happen. Are you sure? And you have to agree. And this just makes it obvious to the user that once they hit the start button, stuff is going to happen. And if they don't agree, it won't start, right? Simple. But if they do agree, and it looks like the PIP isn't working, then the webcam will record them while they're watching the video. I'm actually curious what's going to happen at the end of this. I think it's getting, the iPhone has some interesting problems with multiple video containers. when it's going to create a response or anything, yeah, I put some logging on the bottom so you can see what's happening. So this is where it's obviously waiting for the web friendly processing to complete, and that can take a while. That can take it's usually like 30 seconds, but sometimes up to a minute. And since this didn't really work with recording me, I don't know what's going to happen, but you can click cancel and it'll just delete the response. So then that goes away. Oh, and then one other thing on the profile page, the logout's at the bottom. Presumably, once you're in the app, you don't really change your user. So I don't have that as like a main menu item. Let's see, what else? So that's that. Let's stop the iPhone. And I'm going to drop out there. Now let's look at the Android. So the Android one, I actually can't show. Do you want to? Do you want to? Do you want to? All right, so this is, I had the old Surfey app, but I wanted to try the new Surfey app. Unfortunately, so let's actually get this out here. I'm going to do this more. Where is my chat? Of course, it's hidden on another page. Okay, those icons don't look similar at all. So I send myself the link, and when I go to this link, I'm unable to install it because it doesn't, it's not compatible. So there's probably something, what I'm thinking is the base version that we have going on is not, let's see if I can do about this app. Here we go, about this app. No special permissions, but you see at the bottom it says won't work on your device. So this is a Motorola Moto G Play, and I will show you the version. So that's the device name at the top. There's the model, build number, and let's look at the system. I'm hoping for Android system version. I wonder if I can just version here. Nope. What if we say Android? It could just be slow too. Ah, look at that. Android version is 12. Okay, I just missed it earlier. I'm guessing we're targeting an Android version that's different. Let's see what the MVP looks like on Android, since I can't view the app version. So I'm going to sign in with Google this time instead of Apple. No special permissions. I've created a couple of test videos, and you can see it still looks pretty good. Oh, that's interesting. Did it cache the profile page? There's the loading screen, by the way. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Log out. This phone's a lot longer, and he doesn't have any. I want to set the, wow, the date set selector does not work on Android. Okay, so this is not going to work. Let's find out what happens when we record. Hello, this is a test recording. Interesting, the duration at the bottom was at 47 hours. Click OK. This is what it's supposed to look like. iPhone just doesn't quite hack it. I should mention that Safari actually works too with the MVP, but again, when you have dual video things going, it gets a little funky. So this is where the native app is really key for iPhone users. Android users can clearly use the web, but they're not going to be able to use the if You're not going to be able to use the web if you're on iPhone. It has too many security restrictions. It's possible if they use desktop mode, that'd be a little different, but I don't know what that's going to look like. So this, anytime it checks once every 10 seconds, which I know is kind of a long interval, but it'll grab the last text out of the cloud logs for that particular job, which is pretty cool because then it'll show you stuff like this. What will be nice is when it's pulling log data out, because it'll pull out probably a chunk after 10 seconds. The cloud logs seem to come in chunks. Then what would be nice is if we kind of animate through the log. So if we're pulling once every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, that endpoint actually takes about 5 seconds to respond. But if we're polling it every 10 seconds, we could take that 10 seconds, and we did the same thing with the last step with spitting out the text, right? So we have 10 lines and there's 10 seconds. So I'm going to spit out one a second before I check again. And that way it has the feeling of movement, so the user doesn't start to get kind of irritated about how that works. So let's actually try scanning this QR code. And see if I can take the survey on my iPhone, since it's not, there's no title on this. That's fine. Do you agree? Yes, I do. And we'll start. Oh, look at that. See, it's recording on iPhone. You can see me in the corner. So this is going to be a response. Normally, you'd be able to hear my volume. And when it's done, it automatically starts uploading the response. And again, says thank you. And I think we showed all this before. And then it waits for web-friendly processing. I'll just set that down there. And by the way, you'll notice that when you go to the survey, let's go there. When you go to the survey and you got to take it, it says hide my email, and that's the default. So that, I think that's pretty important, and you can't close that there. So and then what it shows up as is just private user. In the API, you get back an ID instead of, it's funny, the camera was faced outside. You get back an ID instead of an email address. So it's really easy to tell if it's a private user. If it's not a valid email address, it's a private user. We're not showing you who that is. And then we can use the thumb dot GIF, which gets pretty crazy when I'm doing all these tests. You see a lot of my head everywhere as the poster for the video. And I'm sure you can do this in video components in the native app too. And then we can do duo play on this. Let's see if this works. So duo play. Start. Oh, look at that. See, it's recording on iPhone. So it's playing both at the same time. So this is going to be a response. Normally you'd be able to hear. And so that way, again, when you press it, the controls are crap on the MVP because I didn't really spend that much time wiring that stuff up. But again, you can. So this is going to be a response. Hop back and forth between them. And it didn't record my audio because I think my microphone is off, or it's because it's going into the Google Meet meeting, but you get the idea. So this is how you would view a response. You can either just view the response by itself, or you can do duo play on it. Start. Oh, see, that's that. See, it's recording. And what I would expect is if I just want to watch a response, I should have a way to swipe out the pip, the little picture-in-picture square. And by the way, just to note that in HTML5, the video tag has a picture-in-picture option, but that's completely different than actual picture-in-picture as I remember it from old TVs. So I've just been calling it duo play. Maybe we'll come up with a better thing than that. And then the videos at the top, and then the sharing, and then settings at the bottom again. So, and if you're done with it, you just hit delete. And we can't select that. And let's see, anything else? You can upload a video file, avatar, and that's it. So that's the Android version. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Can leave the call. So that's Android. Finally, let's go to close my local host. I love how I don't know which let's see, it's that one. This guy. All right. Oh, you know what's cool is you don't see dev tools. That's cool and not cool. Let's stop sharing. I want you to see the dev tools so we can enjoy this together. Yep, that looks cool. So I'll do fetch. So when you first load it up, I want to show you the network tab. We show an animation, the Rive animation. Don't show this again. And that's behind the dialogue. And we make you log in. If you don't log in, you just close the tab. I don't really know. For my purposes, you can actually press escape, so I could skip login for testing. But in the main app, if you don't log in, you can't use the app. And maybe we put some more information there that says go here to read more, and that's an information-based page. It's not the app, rather than in maybe we do that in app, right? Because you'll be able to do content pages. But okay, so let's look at this here. Same thing. Date picker allows us to go backwards in time and see more stuff, and it'll load up. And I'm using thumb.gif everywhere. I like the cards in the app more than this. This is, again, my pseudo cards, just so you can see, like, I want the main page to be, this is what you can do to make a survey. And by the way, here's what you got. So first time users, they're really just going to see this. But then returning users, they'll know to just scroll down. And, you know, it looks pretty good on the iPhone here. This is kind of how I tested it. Cheating, you know, doing it in the browser. But you can see on the side, I just do a few exploratory queries to kind of figure out where the videos are. And I'll probably modify those endpoints because I actually like a less date-based method and more along the lines of, let's just find the first one we can possibly find from any range and then spread out from there. But some key thing here, when we show the videos, I really want to show not just the video, but the title and the date. Because if they give it a title, then that's what they're going to want to see, because that's how they might categorize it. You can imagine if you had 15 product demos and you want to get feedback on them, you might only differentiate them by the title. The GIF, the thumb.gif might be insufficient. Let's try, we record a selfie video. We already did that. Upload a video file. I don't think there's anything new to show there. So let's try the app. So this looks good so far. I like being able to get to the slide out. I want to get rid of this content page though. Again, I want to move to simple. This is really simple, right? I mean, even when you load it up on a browser, it's just like, boom, you can do these big things, but it's meant for looking more like this. This looks good, and that still looks good. I'm guessing I need to sign in first. Sign in. So I like that you have accept the terms of condition. We need to fix the text because it's terms and conditions, and I actually think it might be terms of service, and I think that that's how the wires got crossed there. I like the thumbs here. It is a little big in the web browser, but when you're on a phone, it looks better. And it is kind of strange when you have wide frame stuff that it's tall, but I think that might make sense if we're pushing more of the selfie video as the survey, then using a portrait is probably a good idea, because that more of what people are going to be recording with this, and so it's going to be more of that format. uh that's interesting that I swear I logged in. Oh, these are really older videos. Yeah, okay, there's my. So the sorting is really funny here, right? I get the next button, and I don't really understand why I would need to refresh. I think the app should handle that for you. And most apps now, if you pull down from the top, it'll refresh. And I think we should just do that. If people get really messed up, they can always close the app and reopen it. But the app itself needs to be doing refreshing. I don't think we want to put a button there for it. And probably on the app, I think you were right. You said this earlier, but more of an infinite scroll, because when I scroll down here, like, oh, I need to get to the next page, scroll back up, next page, wait for it, scroll down. It's kind of difficult. And I don't really understand the order. I like the title on top. I think that looks pretty good, but I think we need to make the title fill the card in some way, bigger font, some kind of drop shadow so it doesn't disappear. It might even have a drop shadow, I can't tell. And let's see, so Norway Aquarium. This is really cool though. What's happening in the background is very similar to the MVP. So same feedback as before. I can't, and when I go to my video, I think that's great. This is my video. But what I really want to look at is the responses, and the responses need to look a lot like the main page responses. And also, once I get here, at least in the web browser, I don't know how to get back. On the iPhone, I knew that I could swipe to the side, but in the browser, I'm kind of stuck. So what I end up doing is hitting back, and then I'm all the way back. So I don't know if we can fix that where the response changes the location, like the hash. So when you click back, it goes back to the video rather than back to the main page. I'm seeing some type errors on the side too. Sharing on the web or on the app that has the cool Surfey thing in the middle. So that doesn't do that on web, huh? That was really cool. And yeah, again, I can't get back to the video, so I have to click back, click Norway. Let's look at one of the responses and see. He's probably going to see my ugly face again. Yeah. And I like both at the same time. That's really nice. And it is kind of interesting that it sits dipped so you can't see the whole thing. But again, the video that I don't really need to see the whole thing is my survey, because I already made that video. I kind of know what it is. What I'm really looking for is watching the person so that I can see their reaction to it. And the video needs to be secondary, but with the option of, I want to be able to click on this to swap them. Maybe a little arrow pops up, the duo arrow thing, so you can swap it. That looks cool though. Oh, and see, this page has an arrow, so I can go back. Oh, but no, that one doesn't. So now when I click back, see, now I'm in an infinite loop. There we go. Not infinite, I guess. Okay. Let's see what I really like. The version selector, by the way. This is my absolute favorite, most favorite thing. And we'll probably want to make that so that the version selector only shows up. Well, right now it doesn't matter. No one's using it, but so I did the version selector. Yeah, that's very cool. Very, very cool. What's weird though is the main page still looks the same. So I guess there's the basic version main page looks the same because I want to be able to the entire flow, any part of it, make it different. And at some point, there's going to be a lot more than just these two. Really nice UI looking here, even in the web browser though. I like that. Terms and conditions, we talked about that. Privacy policy, we talked about that. Profile doesn't do anything. Again, I'm guessing we need to do something there. I haven't actually tried logging out on any of this stuff, so I don't know if that works. Let's see. Well, let's see if upload works from here. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. When I record a video or I upload, I think that's what you talked about in your video, Barto, but I can't really tell like what happened to my video. It recorded it, right? Like it made it. So let's look here. Yeah, so it worked. The job's not complete because it's just a thumbnail. It almost timed me out. I'm the only one talking, recording, and it's about to kick me out of my own call. So what happened there? Oh, is this it? 523. Yep. Dig in the debug view. That's nice. Is there some kind of limit? Is it going to roll over or will it keep going? Let's go back to cool. Well, what I like about that selector too is we'll be able to not just do, well, it's weird the GIF's not showing up here or it's not animating. Let's find out if it animates here. The version selector could also be used for people to make something more or less accessible, high contrast, low contrast, maybe even language. That's something we'll talk about later. So there's the survey. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So I just showed looking at the MVP on Android, iPhone, and Chrome, and also looking at the app on Android and Chrome because I can't run the Android app yet, and on the iPhone iOS native app, which is really cool. That's like our biggest win here. And yeah, we'll just have to go back through this video and enumerate all the little tidbits that we want to change, but it's looking pretty sexy. Thanks, Barto. Ciao. And stop.